7:45.
These look nice.
So we'll go live. So everyone's here, so no apologies. Procedural matters, minutes of the last meeting.
Is that what Lucy's printed?
No, I've not printed any today, unfortunately.
Okay.
Sorry, I've not got a working printer.
I don't think the stuff's online either, so good stuff, isn't it? Reports.
They're all online.
I couldn't find them. Okay, so minutes of the last meeting. Does anyone have any comment?
Yep, 10.8. Camera installation not approved. So we've had a proposal, a vote, and it wasn't carried. So I'm not sure why it goes on to say we're getting costs for installation and everything. Because
It was approved.
It was approved.
Oh, it was, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Sorry, in the minutes it says not.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is changed.
So that was...
Thanks for bringing it up.
Because otherwise it's a bit strange that why we're carrying on
Yes.
if it's not approved.
Yeah, well, it definitely was approved.
Well, it said, well,
I have video evidence.
all right, it's just that it actually says there was only 3 for it and 4 didn't.
4
abstained, but I actually
was against
voted
it.
against it.
And I said I wanted to think about it.
So,
Okay, well, amend it to what it should be. But it was carried.
The height installation was carried.
Yes, that
The
was.
camera carried as well.
Yeah. I didn't think
I
it
didn't
was.
think it was.
I'm not sure, it might be worth checking before.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can look at the video, but I'm 100%.
I didn't look at the video, but I just read it and I thought...
I just said
well,
that I wanted to have time to think about it.
Okay, we don't have to discuss it. I'll look at the video.
Good idea.
Yeah,
But my memory says it was carried. Anything else apart from
yeah, thank you.
the typographical error in the Okay, I can sign these as a true and accurate record.
That's yours if you want it.
Okay, declaration of interests, financial or otherwise, on any of the items on the agenda.
No.
Okay, public forum. Obviously there's nobody in the public forum today. I don't blame them. If I wasn't on the council I wouldn't be here either. So we can move straight on. Start correspondence.
Correspondence, yes. So the main one, which some of you, I think, responded to, I don't know if everyone managed to see it when it was happening. We had a report from a resident about some dirty water leaking from a drain. I think it was off Mere Lane.
Yeah.
But I think it got resolved quite quickly. Yeah. That was it.
Okay, moving quickly on then. Finance.
So we've got the current financial position, and did you get the appendix which had the income and expenditure? So I don't know if anyone had anything they wanted to say about what went on last month in terms of income, expenditure.
No, actually, no.
The only thing I said to Lorraine is I'd like to see, and I think we are going to take this forward, where people are not turning up to the village hall. You know, they've rented it out, and then it's for 3, 4 weeks, 5 weeks on the road, the people didn't show. And personally, I think that we either put the hall to some other use, or it's where it can get used every week, or we put a charge in place.
So that was discussed at last
Yeah.
meeting. So did we update the...
I know, but I wanted to reiterate that because I don't think it's right.
Do they pay?
No, they don't pay if they don't show up.
But
So,
neither does anybody. It's not when they don't show up.
well,
Okay, but can we just...
Done that.
We've had this conversation.
Yeah.
So we've changed it, because you weren't here, Chris, to... we're going to change the contract to... if people have to give us notice if they don't want to use it.
Okay, I did see it now.
Yeah.
It's in the minutes, isn't it?
But I mean, to be fair to the pizza people, they're not in breach of their contract.
No, they're not.
So,
Yeah.
but we can learn and go forward from that. Okay. Anything else on the finance side?
So in terms of the income and expenditure, the main thing that I noticed was we had some interest into the savings account, which helps, and we had another IROS bin payment come out on the 2nd. So that was the second payment. So that was the day after I'd spoken to them and they'd arranged this credit one. So I've noticed that this is also a credit now, this payment. I think it must have already been in the system after I'd rang them and checked it. And but it hasn't happened this month, thankfully. Yes. And then, where are we? The agenda. Did anyone else have anything?
Okay. So we'll move on.
Yeah, so then we have some payments. Some of these have been authorised. The main one, I guess, is the parish online maps. I know there's been some talk on emails. What was the general consensus for that, whether people wanted it to go ahead or not?
I think as there's a new system come out that's updated Parish Online, I don't think there's any need for it. But yes, maybe look at the new system. What Parish Online is said to Unic is very clunky, and the data that is there is data that's been put in by Jack or previous people. And I think we did put some in as well. But it's not brilliant. There are better things that are available.
Presumably, so if we don't pay it now, we'll obviously lose access. But then we can look at the other system.
Yes.
If we decide that Parish Online is in fact better than that, and that there's a reason that we want Parish Online, we can always resubscribe.
I can categorically say that no, it isn't better, because they actually sell it as being an update to Parish Online.
Okay.
Right.
Is it more expensive?
You can actually get 12 months free.
Oh, nice.
So we were going to start and we were going to try and use it and see if it would help the neighbourhood plan. So yeah, we can have a look at it.
Okay. So I will not renew that then.
Yeah.
6.3. Oh yes. So in the contract it said 3 months probationary period. So just wanted to know.
Have
you got
See how I'm doing?
So we've got a new clerk lined up.
Don't go
Okay.
But one of the main things was from completion of 3 months was a pay scale from 11 to 12.
Well, I think we might have to.
So I think that was 1413 to 1436. The budget that I've drawn up anyway always accounted for that increase, so it's not going to change the numbers there.
Oh, good. So can I propose that we write to the clerk and inform them that they've passed their probation period?
Second that.
Anyone? I guess we should vote. So those in favour? Look away, Lucy. All right, you're right. You can look now. All right, so I'll write to the clerk after this meeting and confirm that.
And then the big one is 6.4, the budget. So I had a few notes for a few. So the main ones were, I think you'd mentioned about adding in some things, Peter.
Oh yeah.
This was a tree survey.
Yeah.
We did it in 2 parts. So this last year we've done the first part of it, but there's nothing in the budget to cover part 2.
Of the tree work.
Yes.
So was this
The remaining
that
tree works.
that the budget had it been put in the budget, or had it just been it's just been a promise to get this done, but not necessarily was actually in the budget a year ago?
I think it was in the budget for 24 to 25.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we haven't, so the budget now for 25 into 26, there's nothing in that budget to cover the tree works that still need doing.
Sorry, I'm not sure it was planned in for last year's budget. So if you're looking at a document that was last year's budget,
Yeah.
I don't know if it was definitely planned in there. It was obviously paid for, but it may not have been a budgeted item. It may have come out of funds.
Well, the
It's in the
survey
budget.
was done before Christmas, wasn't
Yes.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was,
Also there.
Right.
The only
it
thing
should
is
be
in
in
this
this.
budget that I sent to you, on the left-hand side is the actual budget that got
okay.
that got posted
Yeah.
from the council last year. So if it's there, it might not necessarily have its own little note. It might have been included in another amount under another heading. So whether or not this would be, because there's different little headings, so there would have been like Village Hall, Pavilion, Iros and Lake. So it could have been under waste removal of grounds maintenance.
Don't think so.
No, because I think those figures are already applied, aren't they, to...
Yeah.
If it's in there, then it needs identifying for what it is,
Yeah.
especially with the recent publicity of trees falling over that shouldn't have fallen over.
Yeah. Been a lot, hasn't there?
Well, I think
I can't see it in there. Do we know how much it was and will be?
It's about 4,000, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Something like that.
It's about 4,000 we need to get
Was it not
for the next tranche.
altogether? I
No,
thought.
for the next tranche of work that needs doing.
That's why it was split.
Yes, because it was quite a bit, wasn't it?
I can't remember how much it was.
It was quite a bit, and I don't think it was around the 4,000 mark that we need to be putting to one side to do the rest of the work.
Yeah.
But also as well then, we need to then be penciling in another survey to be done, because he said 16 months. So that would then come in the next year's budget, wouldn't it? So that there needs to be an allowance put in for that for next year.
How much was that?
500.
It's always been.
It'll be in the accounts.
It'll be in the accounts, yes, how much it was.
Yeah.
I think it was,
Things like that.
When we did it.
it was hundreds.
Well, that's, yeah, indeed, that is gone, definitely.
It's gone up pretty much every year, I think.
Yeah.
It will be somewhere in the region of
Well,
500, 550, 600, I would
Yeah.
think.
I don't know about the others, but I was well impressed with that report.
Yeah.
You were, sorry,
I was very impressed with that
yes, he
report.
was a good fellow, wasn't he?
Yeah, very much so.
So we did all.
Do you need a PhD in
Yeah,
tree surgery to understand it though?
I've got here the quote document. We had quotes from 4 different companies for different levels of,
Yeah.
and one of them was 5,352 in total. Another one was similar amount but split into 2, so 3,650 and then 1,850. But I don't know how we ended up then actually doing it. That was the initial quote, so I don't know what we went ahead with and that.
The names of the companies there, because I can...
Yeah, it was the ABCD because they...
Right, I was going to say, I can remember the name of the company, I'm sure it.
It's Estuarine Tree Services
No.
that did the work.
They did the work.
But, no.
It was the
guy
fellow
who
up
did-
from- yeah.
Yeah, he came from Preston.
Yeah.
Well, the
But
the numbers were recorded in the minutes somewhere.
yeah, but the clerk should have the in the records. I'd like to think.
I've got the, I think is it Andrew McLaughlin?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Sale consultancy.
that's the one
Yeah.
from Preston.
I've got the actual tree survey.
Mm.
And the cost of that was what? Was
That's
it
for the cost.
that was towards the end of 23, wasn't it?
Mm.
So
So the
emails.
tree survey was from April, apparently.
Yeah, my emails only go to May.
Okay.
But I can find it in other ways. So does, in terms of the budget, do you want a certain amount set aside in a different heading or under IROS?
For me, a separate heading.
Yes, yeah.
Because it was,
It always has been a
It shouldn't,
separate,
yeah.
separate
It
item.
shouldn't really come
because
under IROS because
No,
it's
it's the whole village, isn't it?
It's the whole village, there's trees here.
It's the whole village, so
Yeah,
so it
yeah.
needs to be a separate.
So it should be tree survey.
Okay. This would
That
be,
included all the plots of land that the parish council owns.
and you think that was around, what, 4,000 to 5,000
We've yet to
roughly?
pay,
4
yeah,
to 5.
for work to be done.
That we haven't paid?
We
Well,
have,
that was in total.
Yes, well,
we paid for half of it.
We paid for half of it.
Did we agree to pay all of it though? Have we agreed?
Yeah, we agreed what trees we were going to do and that the second lot were going to be done this next year. And I thought that was around £4,000 worth.
Yeah, I just can't remember, I know we'd agreed on sort of splitting.
Was the
I can't
first lot
remember
about
whether we agreed the
2,100?
second lot of spending, that's all. I couldn't remember, and I know we
Or were we
agreed
going to review it then to see if it
I thought we might be reviewing the second lot of spending.
should be there?
No, Amanda did send out which ones we were doing first. And
Yeah.
Yeah, she did.
She sent something else out about this next year that needs doing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So there should be, but if you haven't got a record of her email, I'll have to have a look to see if it's still got it.
I've got it on the laptop at home, but
Well, the other thing is, it might be worth considering having, once all the snow and everything's cleared, it might be worth having I know it sounded a bit of an expense, but a resurvey, because a lot of the trees that have come down have not been through breakages, they've been, if you look at them, a lot of them have been through the soil being washed out and the soil being loosened, so they've come over because they've no longer got a purchase, so it might be worth reconsidering a survey of what we've got.
well, when is 16 months up from the survey that he did? Was it April he did the survey on?
30th of April,
It's not,
Yeah.
it's not.
so it's not
So
till
it's not
coming
until,
August.
no.
So maybe if it's going into the new budget, we sort of redid the survey round about August. It's not quite 16 months that, is it? But it's, well, it is actually into 16
Yeah,
months.
16 months is August.
So if we redid...
But we probably can't afford any more, Simon, than what we've already got anyway to do.
Well, perhaps consider...
Do
Sorry,
you know what I mean?
go on.
Thinking.
I was just
well,
replying.
perhaps considering the weather changes we've had, and he'll be very aware of it, of course, anyway,
Yeah.
he might just say, you know, we need to do this and the price will be not as it would normally
Not as a full survey, yeah.
So,
He did
you know,
say
just
actually,
a
if
quick,
we've got
a quick
any...
walk round.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was one of the things he said,
Sorry,
if we've got any
I've
queries.
just found what we paid. So on the 21st of August, we paid 2580 to the tree care people. So that was that first one.
I just think it's worth, with what's happened over this
I agree.
period of time, I think it's worth, even if we just have he knows what's already there, he's already
Yes.
got that report. I think it's worth having a walk, getting him to have a walk around and just review, because if there were some which were 50-50 or...
Yes, well, he'll know the ones that...
Well,
Yeah.
he did say that in his report, didn't he, as well, that they
Right,
need to be looked at again next time.
yeah.
So can I ask, is the tree survey report including the tree work, the tree maintenance?
No.
So is the
two separate
£4,000 to
things.
£5,000 just for the report?
No,
no,
that was for putting down the trees that needed.
The action.
That was the
That was the action.
Yeah.
Okay. So is there a particular amount you would like to put for next year's budget? Is it roughly again the same amount, 4 to 5?
5.
5.
That covers the cost plus having a walk round resurvey, I would think.
But would that... Surely we've got rid of most of the dangerous stuff. Would we expect a similar...
We don't know whether any the other stuff that wasn't quite as dangerous is now becoming dangerous.
Well, that's the point of having
Yeah.
to walk round.
Yeah, that's why,
Yeah, so
that's why the
what I'm saying,
5,000.
5,000. Yeah. Okay.
So that should cover the work and the survey.
So I can clear that up then and look at what we did pay and add for inflation. And then the other, I think you've mentioned
Oh, grass cutting at the Iris.
grass cutting at the IROS, that was it. So that is under the IROS, and is that not part of the grounds maintenance then?
It's not. It wasn't included. It's Steve Wilkinson, who mows the main field. We didn't actually pay him last year, I believe.
No, I think we discussed that though, didn't we, that was going to get a payment done.
But it's,
So that may have happened because it wasn't in the budget. So it may have been missed off last year's budget and therefore wasn't paid.
we didn't
No,
vote on it.
it's always been
I
there.
think we just said that money was going to be sent, didn't we?
Yeah, it needs sending as well.
It does, yeah.
He ought to send us a bill, even if something...
No, it's done.
I know it's ad hoc, but...
But it's the diesel and stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's not charging for his time, he's just charging for the diesel.
Yeah.
I think we just need
I
to
felt bad
get.
about that.
We just need to get it paid.
Well, I think we definitely discussed that, didn't we?
I thought we did.
Yeah, so it was
But it's
an
not.
increase.
It's not in the minutes. So
Yeah.
if it's not in the minutes, it didn't happen, did it?
Can I suggest that?
Steve Wilkinson.
700.
I thought it was. I've seen it in writing.
I thought I had.
Well, even if it's not in writing, can I suggest that we propose that we get a cheque or money sent to Steve Wilkinson in the next few weeks?
I'll tell you how much it is.
We are well behind where it should be. And he's been doing this for years as a voluntary service, if you want, for the village.
Amanda that suggested a budget of 375 dated on the 19th of the 4th, 24.
But what did Steve actually say?
That's off Steve.
Oh, right.
That's
Oh,
actually
actually,
off
it was what
Steve.
Amanda said.
No, that's actually off Steve. It's because I've just put about him not getting the money, and he's just said, I've just looked back at my emails, exchanges with Amanda back in April. I don't know how it ever went to council. I don't know if it went to council, but I suggested to Amanda that she should budget for 375 dated on the 19th of the 4th, 24. So he's not had that 375.
No, he
So
hasn't.
it's not in the budget either, is it?
So is that an annual amount?
Well, he's up at...
Well, it'll be more now because price
Okay,
of
but it'd been
diesel.
375 for years.
Yes.
It'd be 375 for last year.
I think that he would probably say that he wanted more.
Well, diesel's
it's
gone
costing
up.
more.
Diesel's gone up, so it will be costing more.
So
Well, in that case, may I make a suggestion that
I think we suggested a
ask the
little bit more.
clerk to give him a
didn't we?
ring, find out how much it is, and we agree that if anything under 500, that the clerk is authorised to sort that out with Steve and bring back.
But I think that needs sorting straight away.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It needs
But we
to
need
expect.
something in
Yeah.
next year's
Yeah.
budget. So there's a figure there. That
I think there's two things here. There's one, sorting out Steve,
Yeah.
and now once we've agreed to sort out Steve, because he needs paying.
He does,
urgently.
pronto.
And
that's this year.
Yeah, and then we put
Next year.
in the same amount as a budget amount for next year,
Yeah.
500.
When's the budget have to be?
21st, isn't it?
17th, I thought.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yes, I
Next
thought it
couple of
was.
weeks
I
anyway.
know it's the
Can we sort out the payment?
I think we
Can
need
we
to, because
authorise?
I think now we're into 25. I think it's an embarrassment.
I'd like to propose that we authorise the clerk to pay Steve up to £500 without having to come back to council.
I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
I think that's fine, but can I just clarify, if 375 was being discussed in April, that actually doesn't include any cutting he's done this year. That must have been for
No,
the
that's all last
previous
year. Yeah, well, he won't have done anything this year.
No, sorry. I mean the current
24.
financial year that we're in,
Yeah.
the 24-25 financial year we're in. So I think that 375 must be owed from the 23-24 financial year, and now we're in currently in 24-25.
I think he gets paid yearly. That's
Yeah, he
my
does, he gets
personal
paid
thing.
yearly.
I think he gets paid January to when he finishes in September. you know, that's, I'm presuming that's how you've paid him in the past, Sam. I can't
To be honest with you, I can't remember.
I can't imagine it's anything. He won't be going. He
So
won't.
therefore what I mean is we probably owe him 2 payments. If that 375 was being discussed in
Last
April
year.
and was a missing payment that was owed, we've then had another growing season since then. It's probably, so we probably owe him for 2
I'm not sure whether
No, I think we owe him for 1.
We only owe him
the
for one.
community
The community group,
We
I think,
definitely only
paid
owe him
last
for
year.
1.
Yeah.
He was paid the year before.
I can check up on that, and if it's anything different, I can let you know.
Well, at least let's get through.
Sorry, yeah, wasn't that the historical agreement?
Yeah.
Was that the community group
At the
traditionally
very
paid
Ours
him?
would not got.
They did.
not got funds, yeah, they're coming in. So I still stand with that proposal that
Okay, I don't think we can vote as a proposal because it's not on the agenda, but what we can say is
well, the chair can actually bring in something separate if needs
the
be.
clerk can find out how much it is, and if it's within the agreed amount that you pay. So 375 should be for the last year,
Yes.
Yeah.
and then we need to know what it is for next year to go in the budget.
Yeah, okay.
But I do think that needs sorting
Absolutely.
straight away this week.
Well, I think it's what we get
There are
in the
then
budget.
2 items on the budget. There's
I've got the agreement last time, yeah.
IROS,
Maybe
and
just
then
an
there's the
email where
IROS
you agree to pick up
maintenance.
a...
Yeah, I think we do.
Yeah,
Okay, can we have one conversation? One of you have a conversation. Go.
I just said there are 2 items that need to be there in the budget. One is for the IROS, one is for the grass cutting, and the other is the IROS maintenance. Because of course that's what Amos does.
Yeah.
So you want a separate heading, so you want the waste removal, the grounds maintenance, and then you want the grass cutting,
Yeah.
which would fall under Steve.
Steve, yeah.
Okay.
Then it's all neatly boxed.
Okay.
Okay, so again under the budget, I guess it's mainly the precept. So I did. I mean, these figures will, I guess, adjust the budget a little bit. So that would add in the tree survey, would take us further up.
There's also the election costs added to.
Yeah.
So
They weren't
those
as much as we...
No,
are in. So I do have a heading
I
of.
think there were 450. I've seen something around the 450
Yeah.
mark. I think it was 70p a voter or something.
Yeah.
70p times 650. So it's 400 and something, isn't it?
This is what, this is the election
election
costs?
costs.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
So I do have that heading of. Well, it's down as projects miscellaneous, which we've got as 3,000, which we kind of put as election and legal costs. So it's whether or not you wanted to up that, but that was really, or whether you wanted to keep that.
No, I think
the same.
in view of what we've got from Cheshire East, we don't need to... We're probably slightly over, but what we don't know is how much they'll charge us for a general, or whether that comes under a different budget.
Well, I suppose the thing is, in last year's budget, we had £3,000 in there for projects miscellaneous. Now, I think that £3,000, Sam, correct me if I'm wrong, that £3,000 for projects miscellaneous has been in every year. Isn't that the backup figure in case Steve Wilkinson ever stops cutting grass? Isn't that what that figure is from? So you've taken that to cover legal or election legal costs, but actually that figure needs to stay in the budget, not to be for the cost of the election, if you sort of mean.
So you want a separate 3,000, you want an additional 3,000?
No, well, with the election now, it's going to cost 3,000.
No, this is where it gets good. This is a contested election that happens across Cheshire East.
Okay.
If we had our own election,
Yes.
there would be, so the overhead is spread between every parish. There wouldn't be any spreading of overhead, so that would be more expensive.
Right.
Having never had one, or have had one recently, we don't actually know how much it would be. But it wouldn't be 500 quid.
Yeah.
Because they've got to go out, they're printing for us, and they're advertising for us. Take all the overhead. You get it.
Yeah.
But we still need that. Let me answer that. And I don't know, as I said, I don't know what the situation is for the general election. They haven't spoken as yet.
Certainly we need something in the legal thing. Yeah. the
As a separate then.
yeah. So my point was that the 3,000 that was in there, that was down for projects. What it is now. Projects miscellaneous.
Was that covered?
That was to cover the cost
Potential
of
grass cutting.
potential grass cutting costs on the islands. So if we think we still need to cover that potential cost, then that needs to stay in the budget, and then any costs for election or legal costs is going to have to be another item that's added.
Yeah.
Well, we have got election costs and then legal costs. It's another separate thing.
We can leave it as it.
Well, that's a possibility. It's whether instead of that you assign money in the reserve to that potential cost. So it's not a cost we're planning on having this year, so it doesn't need to come from this year's income if we assign money in the reserve to it. And then that only needs spends if it happens.
I mean, but it's really things that we can spend for a bit of a holiday, rainy day fund for things that we can't predict. Which I think we've already put that money aside
Yes.
as part of the reserve.
Yeah.
So I think we're okay.
Personally, I think this country and many others are going through hard times, and probably harder as well as we today. So we have a responsibility to cap as much of our expense as possible.
So I can keep that projects as the 3 then, and then have, was it 5 for the tree survey, and then potentially the 500 for Steve, well not for Steve, but the grass cutting, the IROS. So then that would roughly take us to 35,000. I don't know if anyone. Oh, so, sorry. There is 2 more actual things that I have included in the budget, but weren't in last year's. There was the community events. I put 250, and I put the neighbourhood plan 850, and just wanted to see if anyone had any concerns or wanted to change them. So
But I think that's fine. I think we discussed that in the neighbourhood plan meeting. Not so many inside. But I think there are a number of things that, I don't know, we've got the grant application, but there are a number of things that do have, you can apply for grants for.
Yeah.
I think we need to double our efforts on those, but I have noticed that she keeps sending us a good long list of available grants, which is useful.
Yeah.
But we have to do something with those lists and get that money. We should give away money, leave money on the table. Don't understand.
And I think if we can, even though we've budgeted for things, if we can actually find mass residents who are professionals and things to do have time to help us out with something. I think that would save some times.
Well, that was always my thing on some of the maintenance costs, on some of the gardening costs, if you like, on using the volunteers. And using the maintenance team for things such as doing the hedges around here. I mean, I don't have the £8 for that. There may only be small amounts, but it's small amounts that are skills. And it also gives people the feeling that they are also contributing to the village and to the area.
And that's great, and I really like the people that involved. The only thing, what happens if they get hurt?
Well, this is something that I had a great long conversation with Esther McVeigh about, and that is one of the things that Esther is very keen on seeing happen.
They do it
I'm getting everybody involved in the community and doing something for the community.
Yeah.
But one of the things that we do have risk assessments. We do have a process that we go through for people coming and volunteering. And it isn't a case of people just going out and doing ad hoc whatever they want to. If we've got a job coming up, which we have had in the past, there's always been a risk assessment done. People have signed forms and they understand the volunteering as well.
So, can I
Yeah, actually,
just ask,
it's
because I do
Councillors
actually,
doing that all the time.
I think it's great, but, so, what would happen then if they got injured? I know, would they claim on our insurance?
Yes.
Yes.
If they've gone through the correct procedure,
Yeah.
they're covered by parish council insurance.
I wonder if, so SMFA being a fan of this, as I and other councils, I assume perhaps already do that.
Yeah.
Take a lead from whoever that's been doing it for a while
Yeah.
and see what their experience with
That was, it was one thing she said, that different councils do different things, but as long as you have got your risk assessment in place and you've got insurance and it's clear and it's organised, shouldn't be a problem.
It's very complicated to do the risk assessment.
But I think, I would balance that with, obviously, Jackie Weaver is not a fan of volunteers, and she has said, it's been said, that it's all very well. People signing away their liability, but that means nothing when they get injured. And a parish council has deep pockets in that they can take us for
13 years.
13 years precept.
30.
30 years precept.
30
So,
years, yeah.
a significant amount of money. And while we have to have a risk assessment, the insurance company would always challenge the competence of the risk assessment because that's their job. So, are we 100% sure that our risk assessments will stand up in a court of law?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I guess what we've got to look at is we're worrying about spending public money
Yeah.
wisely and therefore not paying for things we could get volunteers to do. But the flip side of that, as Ewan's saying, is looking after future public money wisely and not leaving a future parish council liable for payment for paying compensation to someone who's injured in volunteering to do something for it, and that could cost an awful lot more than anything we save in.
Well,
That was Jackie's point.
30 years, yes.
well, maybe we make the decision there. Yeah or nay.
I mean, all these other councils around us, for sure, are doing their own work.
Oh, yeah,
Yes, they're not getting professional people in all the time.
The same reason as us, they can't, well,
To cut a few little branches off trees and things like that. They're not. We've got people in doing it.
This is no
I've spoken to Tribus.
the original parish council didn't have all these assets. There's only parish councils over the years that have accepted all these assets, but they've never worried about putting it onto future councils. So we're in the position of,
Yeah, definitely.
we're like the end of that line now, from where the Pickmere Parish Council started with no assets. Suddenly we've got all these assets that we're having to find money to pay for.
I mean, I think it shows in the budget, doesn't it? It's not a balanced budget because the cost of all our assets is more than we.
It's not like we're going to ask them to take a 30-foot tree down, is it?
No.
You know what I mean? You've got to be sensible about these things. Jobs that people can do in the village, and the jobs that they can do.
Anyway, we have a procedure in place where the maintenance group, like the clerk and the chair, just to do what they do. The clerk and the chair agree, then they go forward. If one of us doesn't agree, then they have to come to council. So there is that safety net already in place.
So we did have a procedure.
Yeah.
We did have follow it.
So
As should all people that, even those higher in the village hall, should be doing like their own risk assessments that you come in. Because I came in on to the warm welcome on Wednesday. I mean, how many people who behind the village hall actually go around and open the fire door to make sure it's working?
It didn't work on
It
Wednesday.
didn't work on Wednesday.
We always open that door.
This was a time of snow being there.
okay, but we're digressing then. I thought it was going to be a short meeting.
No, but that's the beauty of having a risk assessment in place, isn't it?
Okay, but I think in terms of the budget, we should assume that we have to pay. And if we make savings, then that's good.
Yes,
I agree.
So in terms of, let's say, we're looking at a 35,000 budget. What was everyone's thoughts on precept and what we set that as? So last year, sorry.
No, go.
No, I was just going to say, if we kept it, because our, I guess our tax base has gone up slightly, if we did keep it as it is, then people are paying less. And I mean, I don't know if everyone saw the email, but it kind of showed what roughly the increase would be, the percentage increase, what that actually stands for. And the, according to what increase would be.
So first, couple of things. First of all, we're talking about a budget of £35,000. We have a current precept income of £18,000, so that's an awful gap. Now, obviously, we do have some other income from Amazing Wonderful efforts on village hall hire, but it's nowhere near £17,000.
We're currently looking at, I think we got 5,800 from April to November. And
it's slowing down.
Yeah, the moment to November, yeah.
So it's a significant amount, but it's still quite a lot short of our total. I was
Potential spend, anyway.
Yes. So I was looking at, I was thinking about the bits that we basically, what I've thought of as non-discretionary funding, basically. So things that we absolutely have to do. If we close down all of the assets, what are the things we sort of still, and the main one basically is pay. Sorry to say it, but it's staffing cost, okay? But it's not just pay, it's also pension and it's also training. And I looked at the difference between what was budgeted last year for pay, pension, training, and then what's projected for this year. And the increase there, which we have no choice over because we have to have a very nice clerk and we have to have the clerk trained, and the pay of the clerk is set by a national body and they determine how much that pay is and how much it increases by. So the increase is £1,363. So that's got to be found somewhere, is my thought. And then the other thing is if you take out the pay bit, the 7,273 as it was in last year's budget, that leaves us about £10,000 just over. If you apply 2.6%, which is the latest figure for inflation, CPI inflation,
That the year or just this last month?
that's that's the latest figure from November 24. So that's another £279. So we need an increase of funding of 1,642 just to keep up with the things we have no choice over paying for, plus a fairly modest amount of inflation on the rest of the precept. So I work that out as basically to meet that and no other increased costs as being 8% on the precept. So it's So it's 1,642 increase. So that takes the precept up to 19,640. So I put that into the precept. I'll get the calculator that you gave us. I mean, so 8% sounds like a lot. For a Band D house, it's £3.68 a year increase.
What? Really?
So the precept would go from £45.76 to £49.44. So the percentage sounds a lot, but in terms of actual amounts for people,
I think if you have a look on the list of parish councils, how much Band D are paying in a lot of the local parish councils, it's a lot more than we're asking for.
We want the lower.
yeah.
Well, that's true, the second lowest.
Yeah.
So I had a look to see what housing is in what bands. So I just looked at roads where the houses are all approximately similar, so where the houses were all built together, rather than houses where there are multiple different houses. So for example, Merehaven, they're all D's and E's. Crofters are E's, Mereclose are E's, Orchards go D, E and F. Clover Drive are F's and G's, and Jacobs Way are H's, which is the top. So a band H at that 8% would be going up £7.36 a year. If you live in Jacobs Way, that's how much extra. If you live in Cloven Drive, you'll pay between £7.36 a year. Cloven Drive, you pay between £5.31 and £6.13 extra a year for the whole household.
Can we just do because Cheshire East for their precept are talking 5% on it.
Yes, so that, I don't know those figures, I'm afraid, but
Yeah, but 5% of, say, Band D, just over the £2,000 is a lot more money, 5%.
oh, absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
people's council tax bills overall.
That'll be going up once it's 5%.
Yes.
Yeah.
But our little bit of that is
Gets a bit.
Pardon?
Piece of blood commissioner gets his 50.
exactly on fire. So people's bills will go up a lot, and it all adds up.
Yeah.
And I don't think us talking about
8%.
8%, although the percentage figure people think, well, that's a lot.
Big number, yeah.
I don't think it's a massive amount.
Absolutely, I would be quite useful with this. If we have one resident who is very vociferous about not paying any more, what do we get for the money and so on. So no matter how much I explain, it just went in and out the other. €100, not. And it then prompted me to ask everybody else that I met walking and so on, that I know and even those I didn't know, what would you say to that? And they all went, well, of course it's going to go up. There was no argument about it. So that made me feel better.
I do think as long as we make it clear and keep on repeating to people as well what our costs actually are, I think what the precept is actually going to, and why it's going up that way. But it's not one of these things that you can't say to people, well, if you read the account, no, we've got to spell it out to people, that this is what the costs are and this is the reason, and keep on doing.
I think it's because we've got still quite a large amount of money in the bank that's what people look at. They're looking at that we've got 70,000 or...
Yes, but they need to understand exactly. So if we start dipping into the 70,000 and spending that, then the next council that come along, they're going to have, like the government, a black hole.
But we're down to 50,000, I think.
Yeah.
So it's 50,000, not 20.
I mean,
We've spent a lot.
Pickmere Parish Council run a deficit budget
Yes,
for
it is.
years, and that's what we're paying for
Yeah.
now. It should have been a sensible increase every year, but it wasn't.
There's 1 year it went down.
As a council, is there some legality to how much we have to carry in the bank?
Well, we actually discussed it last meeting, because of the financial situation, which we have no control over. We need to keep a year's
Precept.
Right.
You cover yourself.
Yeah,
because
that's the way I run my life.
we're reliant on Cheshire to give us the money. They're technically bankrupt. And you say, they would never not pay us, but who knows?
So we need a minimum of, say, £20,000 in the bank.
I assume there was, but I didn't know what the actual number is.
If it was a boom time, we'd probably say half. Would be enough. But I don't think the current climate keeping any less would be good, which is our job.
Okay.
And everyone,
Yeah.
that, what was it, Nick? Sorry, 8%.
So that didn't, of course, cover the extra that you're talking about with the tree payment for the trees and things like that. But as I said, it was 2.6 across everything. So the figure there was 19,640.
What was the percentage?
That gives you an 8%.
8%.
But that's just to stay as we are.
That's just as steady as we are, basically. Yes.
So we're not looking at the deficit.
Not really. No.
I don't think we can set our own to double digit.
If we could, if it's at all possible, to put that onto parish council, but what each band is extra per year, so they can actually see that they're only paying whatever per year rather than.
So band A is £2.45 and band H is £7.30.
Don't mention percentages.
The percentage will be on the bill, won't it?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Yeah, on the actual time it goes, and maybe just put the amount of money that the council will pay.
Tell them what it's for as well.
Yeah. It just means that, you know, it puts it in perspective, you can see it.
But I mean, at some point we will need to balance the budget, otherwise we are leaving the next week
Yeah.
a big black hole.
Yeah.
With quite a little day, all the money spent.
It's not be long before we get down to 20. If we don't
Why do you think
stop
became,
Well,
do
yes.
you think we should ask for?
spending of it.
We don't have a route.
Not at the moment, because I think that sort of bills are going up so
I
much.
know, that's what we say.
But there again, what we talked about previously, looking at the fundings, different fundings,
Yeah.
which perhaps need to be more
Yes.
on the ball with
Not being terribly proactive.
Yeah. looking at what we can fund from grants.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the same as the tree work, could we get a grant to do that? We don't know.
But think about, I mean, £5 is a quarter of our precept.
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
Just because we own all this bit of land,
I don't think it's anything like 5,000 that's outstanding on that bill, actually.
Probably not. But there again, you don't know. Any of the trees that fall down
Yeah.
add to it throughout the year,
I
don't
mean, I still find it quite hard to believe that we've got a public footpath that goes through the land, and if a tree fell on the public footpath that we can't really close, well, we can close it, but, you know, it's got to be,
Jeffrey's did try one.
yes, but it didn't work, did it? So my point is that really we should be getting funding from Cheshire East to cut down trees that are
Look at that.
that are going, you know, on the footpath, because they're making us keep the footpath, aren't they?
Well,
Yeah, but that's the legislation that's there. It's up to the landowner to
Yeah.
maintain the access.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
It's the footpaths in place.
Nothing to do with that anyway.
They have to make sure that the footpath is maintained, kept open, and all the exits and entrances are sorted. But at the end of the day, that is a national
Yeah.
rather than Cheshire East.
Okay, so the proposal is that we do for an 8% uplift, which Bobby is nowhere near going to cover the deficit. No, economic climate, I think it's a fair compromise. So can I have a proposal or propose? Those in favour? Okay, and then if someone can let me have the figures, I'm back to do it on the Facebook page.
Yeah.
So everyone can be informed. Okay.
Have we done enough to actually fill in the form?
Yeah.
Or Cheshire East
Yeah,
to submit it?
I just need print it.
Was it the 17th?
Need signing
It's
Yeah, 70.
And I think it did say on the,
Because it says 70.
does it say? Yeah. Yeah.
That's it. To allow us to add it for precept for legal. No, that's
So just to clarify, that form is us telling Cheshire East what we want our precept to be.
Yes.
It's not actually a deadline for us setting our budget.
right. Got some budgets we have a budget set.
Yeah.
Budget we set based on the discussion we had tonight.
It'd just be query over the future cost of
Yeah.
diesel. It needs to go in the budget, doesn't it? So, yeah.
There was planning. I think, again, I did send round about this, and I think you'd said about a comment
Oh, yeah.
and leaving it. But I think I have seen no, it was it's still pending today, and it's there was an email on the
Briefly on the application that was withdrawn carriage from stores, and then it was the heritage, built heritage from the letter that they sent that a lot is going on with it from enforcement about it not being built correctly and others along there not being
This is on
built to the plans in play. So, Parish Council should approach that we need it to be enforcement officers to sort it out. Yep.
I've just realised.
So we're not going to make any comments at all. So, yeah.
We've had everything.
Is this Alan's old house?
What way?
Yeah.
No. It's all mine.
Exactly.
The whole development in all mine. That one of the officers made comment about it. Things not being to planning. So, I think we should leave the enforcement team
Agree.
sort it out with the owners of properties.
Okay, good. I have just realised that it's 1:25 and just get back into being chair of everything else. But I didn't give an update on activists from my side. So the other thing that I need to update you is, as promised, I've started the legal action. You now have an account, and I'm just going through the process. So today I issued a letter asking for payment in 30 days, which is the first step of the requirement of the small claims law.
Right.
So I sent that via email and I've sent it via WhatsApp. It's received. So they have 30 days.
Did you have a screenshot of the fact that it's been received and read?
Remind me, Joe, what's the amounts that we've made?
4,400.
Which is, that wasn't the whole cost, was it? How much?
That was the payment made by the Pickmere. To them, for whatever reason.
Do you not have to send it by registered post? Well,
That's that thing, the email.
okay. It used to have to be.
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
When it goes to court, it's because that's by the court will send by the the first stage of the process is you have to give 30 days to settle.
Fine.
So we've given 30 days. Other than that, obviously the sinkhole has been closed down. The sinkhole at the end of Folk Drive is now open.
It's been open for 6 months.
Somebody's running a sweepstake on how long it's going to stay closed.
Yeah.
You won't even go there. And then I think I have to say that when that diversion was in place and I phoned Cheshire East and asked them to send a gritting lorry, they did actually send a gritting lorry.
But it was horrendous round.
Yeah. I drove it.
We could have had it at a worse time, couldn't we? With snow.
But I think what they did, they were so you should think for that. So that's the only things that I have that dropped down.
One other thing from the last meeting, would you go to share the size drawing of the yellow line?
Yes.
Did we not?
No.
If it's not,
I will ask the clerk to once again.
just a drawing where you could actually read the boxes, what they were actually saying.
If you've asked me.
We did ask it at the meeting.
I just asked the clerk to send it. But
You did, didn't you?
Did the clerk have it now?
yes,
All right, of course, that's fair. Okay.
as you know, all correspondence.
It's the plan.
It is related.
Yes, you read.
Proposal.
It's from Cheshire Highways.
Police and Planning Commissioner.
What's the guy's name?
Jonathan.
Jonathan. Jonathan.
Legible drawing.
Yeah, legible.
Well, then we should get Cotton off. Jonathan Cotton.
It's been a long one.
Okay. Moving on. Update on actions previously.
Yeah. So I guess the main ones it's mainly all about quotes really. I've got one from here for the roof works. It was including didn't specify a difference between, but it was 3,900, and that's for the gutters and the water filters in the pavilion, which, considering the Cheshire roof repairs, one was 1,986 just for the gutters.
The gutters were done just not that long ago, Simon, weren't they?
What?
You got to know at the pavilion.
Sorry, the gutters are here.
Yeah. Oh, no, but they said the pavilion. Oh, sorry. I'm going to say, because I know that they changed all the gutters at the pavilion.
Yeah, they did. The pavilion gets you.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Fascism.
Yeah.
Okay, but we're not talking about
Sorry. No, but she said pavilion, that's what sort of.
Water heaters.
Sorry.
So did you want either of those quotes, or did you want me to keep going for more? It's been difficult the last 2 weeks. It's only been this week where I've been able to get again and start quoting, so I can push for more.
Builders normally have a few weeks off on the Christmas.
We're only ready. We're coming back.
Okay.
I've had I've been in contact with a few guys who can do some bits. So one guy for the fire door in the pavilion, and I think it was the cupboards in in this kitchen. He was saying around £30 per hour, or 190 a day. He didn't think it would take more than a couple of hours to do the two.
That's reasonable. That's acceptable.
So he's going to let me know. I said I would let him know if that was all right. And then he said he'd let me know on Monday when it would be. He said it'd probably be next week.
It's only talking about a couple of hours.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's really good.
Okay. The locksmith was £130. That was to change the lock on the front door here, and to fit a key lock on the wall. The type of lock was just like you knew a dial one that you have. If you've seen those, yeah. But he said if you wanted a separate type of lock that was more of a push button one rather than a dial, he could supply, then all in it would be 180. That's for a new lock, a key, an installation, and purchase of a key lock. Okay.
Yeah.
And then
That's supplying the lock and doing the work.
that's applying it and doing it. So key box, yeah, and the lock. And then I've just had an electrician come tonight. So he's looking at what it would cost to fit the defib on the outside of the wall. And I also asked him to just quote for the lights. And then I've also got another guy coming tomorrow who I'm going to meet, who I actually know has done some work at mine, has done some work for Marston Council. He's coming tomorrow. So
Is he an electrician?
he's electrician as well, yes. So I'll have another quote. So I'll get 2 quotes out to you, hopefully, at the end of the weekend for the tricks.
That's great, thank you.
Great. Thank you.
The only thing I thought in the sections from previous meetings is I think there were a load of action outstanding from previous meetings. So it might be worth maybe going through just reconciling what decisions we made and whether we've done. A lot that comes to mind is water and cement plant, the area down. I'm not sure how high it is.
It's a top right over it. You wouldn't get anything down there.
But there are things like that should have happened.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll go through last year's meetings and I'll send you some things that I don't think can be done. The reference to where they went. Oh, ready? So, only one report. So before Christmas, Jane and I attended the Peace and Crime Commissioner meeting. This time was held at the Cheshire Police Headquarters. So updates from Cheshire's highways. So the most important thing is we're no longer constrained by the end of the budget year. So the funding for yellow line painting in Pickmere would be allowed to go into the next budget year. So because we're a little bit behind. So they're going to supply us with the latest updated readable map, which they've asked us to share as widely as possible. So we will share with our residents, with all the bordering parish councils. Cheshire East will liaise with Cheshire West, and they get any responses that we possibly can. Cheshire East engineers have done a survey and they have picked up some interesting findings to do with the highways. So I'm not sure what Cheshire East spoke about, but they did mention in the meeting that there are a number of highways that have been seconded. I don't know what the word would be. They're looking at what they're going to do about that, because it does affect how you paint yellow lines. So technically, if somebody's car's parked on the highway and they paint a double yellow line, then that car is automatically ticketed. So it does cause a problem.
This is where there's a bit of land that's not on the roadway. It's a bit of land next to the roadway, but that is officially part of the adopted highway. Is that what we mean?
So it was something that would have been a verge,
Yeah.
which is no longer a verge.
Right.
And so obviously the engineers came around with the plan which said this should be grass. And they found cars.
Okay.
So it doesn't present the issue, but they're not sure how they're going to deal with it. We also got an update from the Peace and Crime Commission that he's allocated £1,000 to Pickmere as part of his swap fund. Basically on the premise that would help with the antisocial behaviour. Swap. Yes, it's funds that are taken from crime, and then it's given back to community for people apply for a grant for basically prevention of crime.
Okay.
So apparently £1,000 would be winging its way to Pickmere.
But to human being.
To the Residents Association and Neighbourhood Watch. Who made the application.
Okay.
At least that's premium then. Some grants do work.
I think
It should spur us on to actually apply for more.
And have they said what they're going to do with that money? Has there been anything on Facebook or anything saying?
No, not on Facebook.
Don't think about it.
We don't know yet when we've got it.
Oh, I see. It's not been mentioned.
if they're the meeting.
Exactly, I did say that
You don't get it until you get your official letter.
Right.
So, I mean, there's some confusion because apparently the application said it was going to be used for the warm welcome coffee morning. which the Resident Association co-run. And also for crime prevention newsletters, educating residents on how to deal with and report antisocial behaviour, to run a first aid course, and a domestic violence campaign.
What we could look at. We get some good things from the Resident Association and the Neighbourhood Watch scheme certainly on Facebook and things. So this is to expand out with that.
Yeah. And Jennifer.
Then the other interesting thing that you came up with, which is, I think, novel, is obviously in the past we've been able to fund our own PCSO. And the dizzy heights was 19,000, the PCSO cost 40,000. So what he's going to do is set up a system in Cheshire where you can basically pay for a police officer on a daily basis. That would allow us to
Add it to our precept.
add to our precept.
So we already paid for the police, but we want this, we get
That's £50,000 into 3 years' pay for one of those. So how much would a day's pay be for PCF?
I asked him that, and he didn't actually come up with a figure.
It's going to be over a grand, isn't it? We're looking at that.
It'll be 40,000 less to 3 working days in the year.
Yeah, that's
But anyway,
£50,000 here.
this is his scheme. We'd like Pickmere to be a pilot for scheme.
Is it this like this the stop thing that they do in Chester?
I don't know.
So can I ask, I mean, this sounds like you'd like Pickmere to be a pilot for the scheme, so you'd like us to pay that £1,000 to have PCSO come down for the day. Is that what it's saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we won't be able to make £1,000 because that'd been through.
Yeah, but so what it's saying is we've just put up our precept and now it's asking us, so do we need to include it in the budget?
I think it'll only be a pilot, and I think.
I'm just making a point. Have we got the money?
We can't discuss something we don't want to hear.
No, I think we just need to be aware that it's great. It's really good that we've been asked to be the pilot, but.
It sounded fantastic, actually, what he said.
I fully agree, but can we afford it?
Well, we don't know. And like Benjamin, the number one question is how much is it?
He's not great, but he's going to come back with figures. That's what he said. And it might be that if we can have help down here on very busy days and we can pay for, there might be people in the village who will pay towards it. We've got to also look at them different things, whether we can go out there and if there is anybody who, we can set a GoFundMe page to have extra help down there. Like if we've got extra wardens down there on when we know that it's going to be an absolute bumper hot weekend, I'm sure certainly I would help pay towards it.
So the brain ask the question and everybody's going to say, yes, please. And then you can follow on with the good news, bad news bit.
Yeah.
Well, we don't know the price yet.
Well, we
It should be
we
interesting.
have some reserves, and we can make a decision when we know how much it costs. But I mean, at least it's a novel idea. No one else does.
It is, yeah.
So we should at least, the guys spent some time thinking about it. But I think what we have to understand is, and we've talked about this before, our ultimate goal would be to get a public space protection order. When we have that, someone needs to enforce it. So we'll either be paying Cheshire East for a Cheshire Ranger, or we now have a police officer. But whichever way you look at it, the public space protection order is only as good as the enforcement. That's everything on my mind. Yeah. Well, then, I can assure you that the Cheshire East are very excited about the LLI. And they're not, Well, I appreciate it. I'm sure there's a financial.
Yeah, just going back to the yellow lines. Excuse me. Are we going to have public forum for people to come? Are we going to invite the public meeting?
We did say that at the last meeting. It's in the minutes from the last meeting. But any consultation will not be our consultation. It'll be Chester East's consultation.
Yes, but I'm saying, are we going to say to the residents, we're going to have a public meeting to say, this is what is, come and have your
Well,
2 penny.
yeah. We can say that we would talk to residents about it. I mean, all we can do is show them what Cheshire sent us.
Yeah,
I
yes,
think-
exactly, but are we going to have an official?
Yes, I mean, we ran in the meeting with
Yeah.
Dan that we will be responsible for informing our residents. Now, apparently Wincham, when they had their yellow lines, they sent a map to everybody. I'm not sure we can.
I think if you put it on the website and then you advertise it through the Pickmere press.
I agree, but they physically
I was going
said.
to say, I think it's been brought with the Pickmere press, so at least that does go through every letterbox.
But-
Even for people who don't have computers.
Yeah, and we might do it as an insert or something. I don't know. But certainly we'll be talking to people and we'll make it widely available, as we will to all the other parish councils. This is what we've taken on as our responsibility. But that wouldn't be a formal consultation, that would be our consultation. We are informing.
Yeah.
Because it's not we're not responsible, Cheshire is responsible. And then they will have a
Yes.
formal consultation.
Yeah. So,
At least our residents will be forewarned of what they're going to be consulted on.
that's our responsibility to the residents, isn't it?
And yeah, I think, as I said before, the thing to bear in mind is the highways belong to Cheshire East. The pavement and the road outside your house does not belong to you. So just saying, I don't want to get the lines outside my house isn't going to get you very far.
No, they did say that if they do something, they're going to do it anyway, sort of thing.
Well, that's it,
As long as
it's their choice, they're in charge of it.
people see.
But if you come up with a reason argument or something why it shouldn't be there, then it's fine. And then just on the public space protection order, so Cheshire West is much better at this than Cheshire East. So Cheshire West are now changing their public space protection order, which is county-wide, which has apart from dog fouling, Cheshire East hasn't got anything county-wide. But they've included in their consultation lighting fires and disposable barbecues, unauthorised events, and something else they're going to do. Oh, psychoactive substance intoxication.
So if they do that on theirs, that sets a precedent then that Cheshire East could follow for Parsons.
Yes.
Yes, and all of
It does.
but also it gives us to steer because Cheshire East are going to do a Cheshire White one in the near future.
They are going to.
Are not,
Oh, right, okay, yeah.
but they are interested in doing one for us around Pickmere Lake. So what we need to make sure is that ours matches Wincham's.
Yes.
Otherwise, if we don't have barbecues and so they aren't bad barbecues, then obviously the barbecues don't come to us.
Yes.
But it's
Watch out for the demolition anyway, then.
Mr. Chair, did you say that the latest one will include barbecues?
but generally,
Implying that it doesn't, the existing one doesn't,
yes, correct.
which I mean it's a major part of our, not a major part, a strong part of our issues here by the lake. Isn't
Yes,
it? Barbecues.
but the problem is with that's Cheshire West. The Cheshire West are really good at this. Cheshire East not so much. So what we're going to end up with the situation is Cheshire West are going to go forward with this. They'll have this in place probably by the summer. We still have to play on our side, Cheshire East, to come up to the same standard. But it's going to, in some ways, back to the doing something on this side of the lake affects the other side and vice versa. This might be one of those times. But what we need to do is again get people collecting data. And we need to go back through all our Facebook pages and collect data retrospectively. So, if that's the update, has anyone's got any other questions? Okay.
I did submit a report for the neighbourhood plan for the last meeting.
Okay. Not in general, I think.
No, it's just that it says reports from Council and Clark.
Yeah, but it has to be a generalising reports.
Oh, right. The report back in check drafts.
But if you want to,
Well, so, no, so
well, we did get off necessarily standing agenda item, but people might give them support, so maybe we should bring it back on.
Oh, yeah, well, we've not had 2 meetings with council, that's why.
Okay. Oh,
2 meetings.
so we'll put on reports from working groups back on.
Okay.
Can I have a small AOB, which was probably Steve Wilkinson was going to bring down, just to say thank you to the council for the use of the hall for the Father Christmas event. It was a good day. There's been a lot of money raised for the air ambulance who actually came down as well. And so just wanted to pass on thanks. I know it's not standard AOB, but I think it needed saying. Otherwise, if we drag into the next few agendas, it won't have the relevance.
Okay. So we just need to confirm the date of the next meeting, which is 6th February, 7:45 in the village hall.
And then not, they do it. Yeah, I was going to ask that. I do not want to